Hello everyone, and I would like to thank you for being here today, and a very warm welcome to you all. So today we are very pleased to introduce the first call for proposals titled Treatment and Adherence to Treatment Protocols. So during this session, we will walk you through the general information and key steps to help ensure a smooth and successful submission of your proposals. So the first EUP OHAMR call aims to improve the treatment success rates of patients, animals, plants affected by bacterial or fungal infections by providing new treatment options while reducing the risk of resistance in different One Health settings. This call covers three main topics, and submitted proposals should address one and only one of these topics. Topic 1 aims to identify and develop new combination treatment using existing innovative antimicrobials or antimicrobial with adjunctive treatments to extend drug efficacy and combat resistance. The idea behind this topic is to identify and develop therapies to be used in all One Health settings as combination of antimicrobials or a combination of antimicrobial and a non-antimicrobial adjuvant. These actions are expected to lead to the improvement of drug efficacy, the reduction of development of resistance against antimicrobial and antifungal treatments, and the extension of the usability of inexpensive and readily available antimicrobials. Some specifications apply. Improvement of existing combination of antimicrobial treatment is eligible under this call. And for proposals having human health focus, the proposed treatment should target one of the bacterial or fungal pathogens included in the WHO priority list. Treatment targeting viruses or parasites are out of the scope of this call. The second topic focuses on the development of tools and methods to improve adherence to treatment protocols. As the title suggests, the main objectives are to identify the reasons of poor adherence to treatment protocols in human, animal, plant health, develop innovative tools and methods to improve the adherence to treatment protocols, test and compare the efficacy of existing or innovative tools and methods on the adherence to treatment protocols. It is important to highlight that engagement with end users in this topic is mandatory. This includes patients, farmers, and citizens, but not the prescribing physician. Additionally, proposals are expected to consider vulnerable groups who often have reduced access to conventional health and care services. The third topic aims to assess the impact of antimicrobials for veterinary and agricultural use on the risk of AMR transmission to humans and to the environment, to inform policies on the restriction of some antimicrobials for human use. The risk of emergence and transmission of antimicrobial resistance can be assessed by studying the mechanisms of action, the formulations, routes of administration, and treatment regimens. To reduce the risk of cross-resistance or transmission to humans and to the environment, proposals may also aim to improve the formulation, dosage, delivery, routes of administration, and treatment regimens. Ultimately, the goal is to generate evidence to support policies that restrict certain antimicrobials for exclusive human use and to inform policies such as the WHO list of medically important antimicrobials. For this call, proposals should address at least one or several One Health settings. And please keep in mind that not all funding organizations support all One Health settings. Therefore, we encourage you to refer to your national annex to verify which One Health settings are eligible for your funding organization. So again, please refer to the national annex of your funding organization to check the eligibility criteria for the core topics, One Health settings, and experimental approaches. And the evaluation committee will assess the adequacy of your proposal within the core topics based on the evaluation criteria that will be presented later on. For this call to be eligible, proposals must respect the following rules regarding the composition of their consortium. The consortium must include minimum 3 partners eligible for funding from 3 different countries, and among them at least 2 EU member states or EU associated countries. The countries participating in this call are listed on the right of the presentation and are grouped into 3 categories: 20 EU member states, 7 EU associated countries, and 1 non-EU country. Following Switzerland's signature of the Horizon Europe program on November 10th, South Africa is now the only country that is not associated with the European Union within the scope of this call. And you can find a complete list of participating countries on the call webpage. The consortium can include a maximum of 6 project partners, including non-funded partners, which can be increased to 7 if the consortium includes a partner from an underrepresented country. In the case of this call, we have Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Moldova, Poland, and Slovakia. Or a partner where the principal investigator meets the definition of an early career researcher, and within the European Partnership OHAMR, an early career researcher is defined as a PhD holder who is within 8 years after their PhD award and who holds a position at a recognized institution. This period may be extended in case of career breaks, such as parental leave. Please note that this definition may differ from the one commonly used for your funding organization. And the consortium can also be extended to 7 partners if you have a partner from a startup, small and medium-sized enterprises, or industry. Here are a few examples of eligible and non-eligible consortium according to the general eligibility criteria of the call. In the first example, we have 3 partners requesting for funding and at least 2 from the EU countries, so this consortium is eligible. Example 2, we have included South Africa, and by adding South Africa, we still have 2 EU countries. This also answers one of the eligibility criteria. For the third example, we have now only 2 partners requesting for funding, and the minimum is 3. The consortium is not eligible for funding. In example 4, we now have 3 partners requesting for funding and 1 non-funded partner in red, making the consortium eligible. In the 5th example, we have 6 partners, where at least 3 requesting funding, and among them at least 2 from EU countries. The consortium also answers the general eligibility criteria. In the 6th example, it is allowed to have 7 partners if there is an underrepresented country. Herein we have Moldova. In the last example, we have 7 partners. However, they are neither underrepresented country, nor early career researcher, nor startup, SME, and industry. So in this example, the consortium is not eligible for funding for this call. Please note that a consortium cannot include more than 2 partners requesting for funding from the same funding organization. And even though there are 2 UK funding organizations participating in this call, this rule still applies. This means that a consortium cannot include more than 2 UK partners requesting for funding. For any questions about the eligibility of your consortium's composition, please do contact the Joint Call Secretariat Yue Xiao, myself, and Sophie. We have on this presentation the email address for the call. And if you have any questions about the eligibility to receive funding, please do refer to the national rules and requirements. These rules and requirements contain all the national annexes of the funding organization. This is where you can find the specific rules and requirements that apply to your funding organization. So I will take the example of the National Research Agency of France. The annex here provides details on the national commitment, the number of projects that can be funded by ANR, and the national contact to reach out to if you have any questions regarding this annex. There are also specifications about maximum and minimum funding per partner or per project, and depending on the funding organization, all or only some core topics and One Health settings may be eligible. The annex also lists eligible institutions and the specific criteria that apply to each funding organization. It is particularly important to carefully review the eligibility of experimental approaches and disciplines, especially when it comes to preclinical and clinical trials. Principal investigators must also meet several eligibility criteria that can be specified in the national annexes. Finally, eligible costs are either listed in the annex or could be found in the documentations provided by your funding organization. Some funding organizations may also require, in addition to the application submitted at the EUP OHAMR level, that proposals to be submitted at national level, sometimes with additional documents, sometimes without. The contents of pre-proposals and full proposals submitted under this joint call is considered confidential. An exception applies to consortia that include project partners applying for funding from the Swedish funding organization SRC. For this consortia, the applications, both pre-proposals and full proposals, may be made available upon request after the respective call deadlines. If the country where your institution is located is not participating in the call, you can still join a consortium. However, in this case, you cannot request funding and you will need to contribute your own in-kind contribution, and you cannot act as project coordinator. If you would like to participate in the call, but do not have a consortium yet, or if you have a project idea and a consortium, but are missing certain expertise, you can use the partner search tool, which will be presented later by the National Science Center NCN of Poland. Let's move on to the submission platform. Proposals must be submitted exclusively through this online submission platform. Submissions by email, fax, paper copy will not be considered. Only the project coordinator should sign in on the platform. An automatically generated password will then be sent to you. Once your account is activated, the coordinator is responsible on behalf of the consortium for entering the general project information, the names and contact details of all partners, and for submitting the pre-proposal. The other partners should not submit separate proposals. However, each partner should refer to the national annex of the relevant funding organization for the specific rules and requirements. Please note that completing the online submission can take some time, and so please plan accordingly. There is quite a large amount of information to be entered on the submission platform. You will need to provide detailed data about your proposal, starting with the general information, such as the acronym, project duration, One Health settings, targeted pathogens, and thematic area. You will also need to provide detailed information about each partner's organization and department, including their address and several identifiers, such as the Participant Identification Code, the NAS code for Economic Activity Statistics, and the NUTS code for Territorial Statistics. The submission platform provides direct links to help you obtain all this information, and for example, through the EU Funding and Tenders portal. In addition, each partner's personal details must be filled in, such as name, career stage, and identifiers. Finally, you will also need to include budget information for each partner. Once all the required information has been entered on the platform, you can download the pre-proposal template from the EUP OHAMR website and on the call webpage, complete it, and then upload your proposal directly on the submission platform. The final step is to verify your proposal and submit it. Proposals can be saved and modified before submission, but once submitted, it is definitive. So we strongly recommend starting to fill in the online submission from as early as possible and at least one day before the deadline. The submission process can be time-consuming, so please make sure that your proposal is complete and submitted before the deadline on February 2nd. Applications not submitted on time will be automatically rejected without further consideration. There are several important dates to keep in mind. You have until February 2nd at 1300 Central European Time to submit your pre-proposal via the online submission platform. The outcome of the first evaluation step will be communicated to project coordinators on April 29. Selected proposals will receive an invitation to submit a full proposals, and the full proposals should be submitted by June 17th using the same online platform. And final funding decisions will be announced on October 30th. Each proposal that passes both the general and national eligibility checks will first undergo a remote written evaluation carried out by 3 independent reviewers, followed by a panel meeting for both evaluation steps. Evaluation scores will then be given for the 3 main criteria: excellence, impact, and quality and efficacy for the implementation. Each criterion is scored out of 5, and to be eligible for funding, a proposal must achieve a minimum total score of 10 out of 15, with at least 3 points in each criterion. All 3 criteria carry equal weight in the evaluation process. After each evaluation stage, a final evaluation statement will then be sent to the applicant. This statement summarizes the remote reviews and panel discussion. Proposals will be evaluated for excellence based on several criteria, including clarity and pertinence of the objectives, credibility of the proposed approach and methodology in relation to the research objectives, soundness and research based on the concept, novelty, potential to advance in the field, timeliness, and innovation, scientific excellence of the consortium. The second group of evaluation criteria focuses on the impact of each proposal. Please note that some criteria are evaluated at both pre-proposal and full proposal stages, while others are assessed only at full proposal stage. So we have several criteria, such as impact of the proposal to achieve the objectives of the core topic, potential of the expected results for clinical, public health, and animal health, agriculture, or environmental benefit, including economic viability, sustainability, where appropriate. Relevance and consideration of the One Health concept. Potential for fostering a long-term international network of researchers. For example, bringing together specific know-how and/or innovative technologies, gathering a critical mass of patients or biological material, sharing resources, model database, biobanks, and international comparisons. Potential reach of the project results, including dissemination and communication measures. Accessibility of the proposed innovative strategy, different geographical areas, different populations, including low resource or underserved populations. And at last, appropriateness of end user and stakeholder participation engagement, for example, policymakers, industry, patient organization, health and veterinary care, farmers. And finally, proposals will also be evaluated on the quality and efficacy of implementation. And again, some criteria will be evaluated at both pre and full proposal stages, and some only at the full proposal stage. We have here evaluation of the coherence and effectiveness of work plan, including appropriateness of the allocation of tasks within the given time frame, adequate distribution of the task between the project partners considering the required expertise, strength of the transnational collaboration, integration of socio-economic equity and cultural dimensions into the proposed research, quality of the proposed open science practice, data management, intellectual property management, and freedom to operate where appropriate. Appropriateness of the management and governance structures and procedures, including risk and innovation management. Potential exploitation, including strategy to identify and address potential barriers, and relevance of the outcome of the findings beyond the current project. Contingency plan, including risk assessments and mitigation, including unforeseen circumstances like COVID-19. Justification of the requested budget and costs, effectiveness of the project, appropriate distribution of resources in relation to project activity, partner responsibilities, and time frame. All the information that has been presented during this webinar can be found on the web page of most funding organizations participating in this call, where the call text is available for download as a PDF. You can also visit the partnership's website and the call webpage, which contains the same information in a slightly different format. On this page, you also have the option to print the content by using the print page button, and the national annexes can be found in national rules and requirements sections on the left-hand side of the webpage. So again, I would like to thank you all for your attention and for taking the time to follow this presentation. We wish all potential applicants the best of luck as you prepare to submit your proposals, and we look forward to seeing your innovative ideas and collaborative projects come to life. And if you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact Sophie and I by using the call secretariat email address. Thank you.